What are the contents are there in this topic. So first, where do tissues fit in the living organism? So this is the most interesting question. We know the living organisms are okay. So this is the animal tissues, and just I ask you the question: where do tissues fit in the living organism? So here we are having some specific questions are there. That is the where do tissues fit in the living organism? See that life begins as a single-celled zygote after fertilization. Okay, so first how the living organisms are formed. So the complete life begins with or begins as a single-celled called as specific structure that is called as zygote. So after the fertilization, immediately zygote will be formed. So now we can say that life begins with, okay, so life begins with what here? Zygote. After the fertilization, zygote will be formed. So what happens then? The cell differentiates into variety of tissues. So zygote is not remain constant is zygote. It is going to be differentiated. How it is going to be differentiated into variety of tissues, groups of cells are with the same function. In some of the animals, the cells having the similar function, but gradually the animals are developed. So in that animals, the cells are going to be divided or grouped into tissues. So here the cell differentiates into a variety of tissues. Okay, a group of tissues with the same function forms as an organ. Okay, group of tissues, group of cells are called as tissues, and we are taking a group of tissues with the same function forms the organ. For example, kidney. Kidney having so many tissues will be there, and the tissues are grouped into what? Organ, kidney. So kidney having the similar function. In any animal you take, the kidney functions as a similar function same. So like that, the animals having the tissues and tissues, how they are formed. First, the zygote will be formed and then transforms into cells, and then the cells, the group of cells are transformed into what tissues. And the similar what a function or same function is be identified, then it is considered as organ. You see that group of organs, that is what a organ system. If you take organ, for example, reproductive system having so many of group of organs will be present. So that organ system is called as what? A group of organs is called as organ system. And group of organ systems, here organs is called as organ systems, and group of organ systems is called as organs. So this is what the tissues, where they are located and what are the functions and how they are formed. Okay, life begins with what? Begins with zygote, and the zygote is called what? Single cell structure, which is differentiated into group of cells and variety of tissues, and then the group of tissues which forms the organs, and the group of organs are united of organ systems, and the organ systems united to form organs. I hope you understood. Next I am going to the another slide. What is tissue here? Okay, what is tissue? Specialized cell of the same type that performs a common function in the body. This is what a tissue. What is saying that specialized cell of the same type that perform a common function in the body. So that is what here tissue. The study of tissues is called as histology. Remember this word, it is very important. Histology. Histology is the study of tissues. Histos is nothing but tissues. Logos is nothing but a study. The study of tissues is called as histology. So what is tissue here? Tissue is a specialized cell of the same type that performs a common function in the body. So that is called as tissue. And let us see what are the different types of tissues are there. Here the major types of animal tissues, basically there are four types: epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscle tissues, and the nervous tissues. So these are the four types of tissues, major types of animal tissues: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and the nervous tissue. Okay, so these are the four types of tissues, major four types of tissues are there in the animal. And next, you see that what is epithelial tissue? Covers or lines body cavity and forms glands. Where it will be located, it covers the lines of the body cavity, and it also forms the glands, endocrine glands, exocrine glands, etc. So that you say epi means upon, upside. Okay, it covers the lines of body cavity. Where it is present, it covers the body cavity and also forms the glands. So that is what a epithelial tissue. And connective tissue. Connection is here between the two links or two organs or two structures. It will be located. Connective tissue binds different organs together and support the body. Okay, so that is why it is called connective tissue. So this is what a epithelial tissue, connective tissue. So connective tissue binds different organs together and supports the body. And whereas the muscle tissue is useful for the movement of organs. Okay, for example, shoulder, kidney, and hands, legs, etc. The movement, wherever the movement is available, there we can identify the muscle tissue. Nervous tissue. So nervous tissue is very important. So it receives the senses and it transmits the impulses to the various parts and from one organ to the another organ. So these are the major four types of animal tissues. So this is the major. Okay, now it is okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Just I told you that how many types of tissues are there. So this is the what types. Again, we are going to separate the tissues here. We are going to take the first one, that is epithelial tissue. So epithelial tissue, where it is located, lines the body cavities and forms the glands, as I told you. And here it is of various types. What it is included: squamous epithelial tissue, cuboidal epithelial tissue, columnar epithelial tissue, ciliated epithelial tissue, and glandular epithelial tissue. So these are the five types of categories present in the epithelial tissue. Okay, what are they here? Squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelial tissue, columnar epithelial tissue, ciliated epithelial tissue, and glandular epithelial tissue. Okay, so these are the five types of epithelial tissue available in our textbook. Let's see that. So what is squamous epithelial tissue? See the first, what is the structure is there in this. Okay, it is a single layer thin. Okay, it is a thin single layer structure. It is large. Flattened cells are composed. Cells have irregular shape and are closely packed in mosaic form. Okay, cells have what? Irregular shape and are closely packed in the mosaic form. Okay, so that is the structure. Single layer. Okay, it is thin, large, and having the flattened cells. What is the structure again? Cells have irregular shape and are closely packed in the mosaic form. Cells are attached to the basement membrane. Okay, where the cells are attached here? Cells are attached to the basement membrane. That is the structure of what? Squamous epithelial tissue. So it is single thin layer structure, large structure, and having the flattened cells. Cells, how the cells are arranged here, irregular in shape and closely packed in the mosaic form. Cells are where they are attached to the basement membrane. So what is the function of epithelial tissue here? Diffusion of gases can occur easily over surface. So we mentioned that epithelial tissues are lined on the body cavities and external surfaces. So here what is the function here? Diffusion of gas can occur easily through surface. That is the main function. And also it supplies the friction-free surface for blood flow. Okay. So actually whenever the blood flows from one organ to the another organ, friction may be formed. So during that situation, the friction-free surface is provided with this squamous epithelial tissue and it pumps the blood in free flow. So that is the main function. And also it just I told you that where it is located upper surface of the body cavity. So that's why it protects and supports the underlying tissues. That is the main function of squamous epithelial tissue. Okay. So I hope you understood that structure. It is thin, large and flattened cells. The cells are arranged in the form of irregular shape and closely packed in the mosaic form. Cells are attached to the basement membrane and the functions of this character, that is diffusion of gases, can occur easily over surface and supply friction-free surface for blood flow, protects and supports underlying tissues. So these are the functions. Next, let us see another type. Squamous epithelial tissue. How it appears? Just we mentioned, this is the diagram of what is squamous epithelial tissue. See, just I told you that where it is located, lining of lungs, blood vessels. Examples are very important here. So just I told you now, irregular shape. Okay, where they are located, this is the basement membrane. The cells of squamous epithelium located on the basement membrane. And the cells are arranged irregular in shape. Okay, and the examples are lining of lungs, blood vessels in mouth and esophagus. Okay, so 4 examples are given here: lining of lungs, blood vessels in mouth and esophagus. Remember the example. Now the voice is clear to you?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Okay. So then we will see another slide. So another type. This is the cuboidal epithelial tissue. See the structure. Square-shaped cells will be present. Here the cells, how they appear. Square type of cells will be present. They are closely packed in the single layer only. See this is the single layer, and in that the cuboidal cells will be identified. Okay, cube is nothing but actually it appears like this, pear shape. Okay, like this. So one by one the cells will be arranged. So cells where they are attached, again same on the basement membrane only. The main function of cuboidal epithelial tissue is absorb the molecules. Okay, the main function of cuboidal epithelial tissue is what here? It absorbs the molecules from the body cavity. That is the main function. Here the cells, how they appear. Okay, so where they are present is lining of ignite tubules. We are having proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, collecting duct, etc. The kidney having the proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. These are the tubules present in the kidneys. On these lines, on the wall of proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct. So there we can get the cuboidal epithelial cells. and lining of various glands also. Glands are nothing but your endocrine glands or exocrine glands. So on the wall of that particular structure, the cuboidal epithelial cells will be identified. Okay, so that is what a cuboidal epithelial cells, and here this is the structure where they are present. Square cells will be present, closely packed in the single layer. Cells attached to the basement membrane and function is what absorbs molecules from the body cavities. And where they are located is the lining of kidney tubules and lining of various glands. These are the examples for cuboidal epithelial tissue. And then columnar epithelial tissue. So if you see the structure, tall and elongated column-shaped structures will be identified. You have it up here. So this is columnar epithelial tissue. See here what he mentioned, elongated structures. Okay, elongated structures will be identified, and then tall and elongated structures. Nucleus, where it is located, you see nucleus located near the base of the cell. Nucleus, here it is nucleus. Okay, nucleus located here, basement membrane is present and very close to the basement membrane. Nucleus is located very close to the basement membrane. Okay, and then the cells are attached to the basement membrane. Cells are attached to the basement membrane. Okay, here this is the basement membrane and the cells are located here. Okay, so they are very tall and the nucleus is located very close to the basement membrane and the cells are attached to the basement membrane itself. Okay, and then the functions. What is the main function of columnar epithelium here? It plays a role in absorption of nutrients. So whenever the food is digested, that will be converted to glucose or some other elements, etc. So during the absorption process, the nutrients will be absorbed by this columnar epithelium into the body. That is the main function. And also it protects and supports underlying tissues. Epithelial tissue can protect from the external environment, but whereas columnar epithelial cells can protect and support the underlying tissues. That is the main function of this structure. And here, where they are located, you see, lining of small intestine, stomach, and ovidum. So where we can find the columnar epithelial tissue here, we can find them in the lining of intestine, stomach, and ovidum. So there we can identify that character. Okay. So let us see another category: ciliated columnar epithelial tissue. Structure, see that where it comprises of columnar cells with cilia at their free edges. Okay, columnar cells with cilia. See that this is columnar epithelial tissue, and if the cilia are present like this, okay, comprises of columnar cells, same comprises columnar cells very close to the basement membrane, and the cells are attached to the basement only. And here what we say that ciliary, that which are present on the cilia at their free edges. Free edges nothing but this is what free edges. Okay, and like this. This is what free edge. So this is the water. It sweeps impurities to the main function of water. This columnar epithelial tissue sweeps impurities towards throat. Sweeps impurities towards throat. That is the main function. If any abnormal material or unwanted material present in the throat, that will be removed outside. That is the main function of ciliated columnar epithelium. For example, we will get cough. Okay, so during the cough situation, we can remove the some phlegm also, mucus. Phlegm is nothing but mucus that will be removed outside. So this will be swept by the what columnar epithelium, because it is composed with what cilia-like structures that will be removed outside. Improves movement of substance through the ducts. Okay, improves movement of substance through the ducts. So the movement, the molecules or nutrients, whatever it is required, that will be moved from one organ to the another organ. So during that situations, that improves the movement of substances through the duct is cleared. So that's why it is very important. Next, this is what ciliated columnar epithelial tissue. Just I told you that the cilia which is located on the base of the or edge of the columnar cells, and the cells which are nucleus is located very close to the basement membrane, and the cells are located or attached to the basement membrane here. And where they are located, you see the lining of trachea, nostrils, bronchi and sperm ducts. Okay, trachea, you know that just behind the pharynx region we are having the trachea, and there the wall of trachea which is composed with ciliated columnar epithelial tissue. Nostrils, you know that while taking the oxygen, the nostrils are located inside the nose. The wall of nostrils are so composed with cilia. Bronchi, you know that bronchi is the structure of what internal structure of lung. Bronchi, bronchioles, etc. It is a branch-like structure which is present in the lungs. So bronchi, sperm ducts, that is epididymis, vasa, differentia, vasa, efferentia. These are the ducts of male reproductive system, and female reproductive oviducts will be present. So on the wall of sperm ducts and oviducts, etc., the wall which is composed with ciliated columnar epithelial tissue. So it is very important to remember the examples. And then we will see the another type, glandular columnar epithelial tissue. Glandular columnar epithelial tissue. So here if you see, the structure consists of cuboidal and columnar epithelial cells. What it includes, see that how it appears. See here two types of columnar cells will be present and cuboidal cells will be present. Both are formed here. And then you see here, consists of cuboidal and columnar epithelial cells will be present. Unicellular glandular cells with goblet cells secretes the scattered among non-glandular cells. So unicellular is nothing but the glandular cells which composed with the single cells. Uni nothing but single. Okay, single, only one cell will be present with goblet cells. If they are composed with unicellular glandular cells included with what goblet cells, and where they are scattered among the non-glandular cells. Non-glandular cells spina, they are what scattered. And if you see the function, produce mucus which serves to lubricate the intestine and make movement of food easier. So while taking the food will be passed from one organ to the another organ. The movement is provided with a gel-like material, the wall which is composed with what mucus-like material. Here the glandular columnar epithelial tissue produces what mucus. So it also serves to lubricate the intestine. So while the intestine is lubricated, food will be passed from one organ to the another organ. Otherwise, if while taking the food, if the food is stuck in the any of the organ of digestive system, the person may get the problems. To avoid the what inconvenience in the intestinal organs, so then the movement should be provided easily. So that kind of movement which is provided with production of mucus and which serves to lubricate the intestine and make movement of food easier. That is the function. Keep respiratory passes moist. Always the respiratory organ should be moist, because if they are dried, the oxygen will not be passed into the lungs. So should be always moist. So respiratory passes maintained with moist environment which is provided with glandular epithelium itself. And next, secretes enzymes, hormones, sweat, wax, saliva, etc. So we know that enzymes will be produced, hormones will be produced, and sometimes when the person works very hard, the person will get what sweat. wax also will be produced. In ears we can get wax, and saliva always will be produced. So these are all the maintained by what gland are columnar epithelial tissue. Okay, so this is glandular epithelium. And then, so this is the structure of glandular columnar epithelium. So where it is located, you see, in small intestine and respiratory passes, we can identify them. Okay, in small intestine and respiratory passages. So there we can identify the glandular columnar epithelium. So occur in salivary glands, thyroid glands, sebaceous glands, in the skin, etc. So these are all the examples for glandular epithelial tissue. Okay, in small intestine and respiratory passages are the examples for the glandular columnar epithelial tissue, and also present in the salivary glands, thyroid glands, and sebaceous glands in the skin. Okay, so those are the example for the glandular epithelial.